Eso, chingado. Bienvenidos todos. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight in this sonidero. Thank you to Acud Theater for opening us the door. Thank you so much. So this is our last show, at least for this year. We're very grateful to have you, all of you here. How do you call that?
Shivers.
Shivers? Shivers like... ¿Cómo? Tiriteo. 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 ¿Alguien sabe cómo se le llamaría, or someone who can tell me this feeling in German?
Zittern.
¿Zittern?
Zittern.
Zittern.
Es el verbo. Zittern.
Zittern. Oh, zittern. Mira. In Mexico we call it ñañaras.
Bienvenidos a Paralelo Teatro. Bienvenidos. Estamos ahí con todos los saluditos para toda esa gente querida del entorno que ha ganado conmigo.
Eso. Ay, no. Es que mi nieta ya me escribió una tarjeta, ella nunca me escribe. Vive en los Estados Unidos y es que, bueno, no sé cómo leer. ¿Alguien aquí me lo puede leer? ¿No? ¿No hay nadie? Sí. Pero hablas inglés porque es que no lo entiendo. ¿Me lo puedes leer? Gracias. Pero poco a poco, ¿ok? Sí, sí.
Dear Lydia, how are you doing these days? What is the weather like in Mexico? I am going to try to visit. I just get so busy these days, and I just graduated school. I'm hoping to be a vet.
Ay, pero ¿eso qué significa?
Dice que, ¿cómo andas? Que, ¿cómo está el clima en México? Que está intentando venir a visitarte, pero que está muy ocupada porque se acaba de graduar de la escuela.
¿Y esa palabra cómo se dice en inglés? ¿En la escuela?
School.
School.
School, como escuela.
Ok.
Dice que quiere ser veterinaria o veterinaria, no sé.
Ok, pero a ver. ¿Ese cómo se dice en inglés?
Vet.
Esa palabra es que... Dear Lydia, I really miss you. I want to plan a trip soon, but Mom says I can't. It's been a long time, and you know what? I wish you would learn to use the phone I got you. I really hate writing letters. It's not very practical. I also kind of wish you would learn English sometimes, but anyways, love you always. Daniela.
My grandmother used to say that moles are constellations. They are reflections of the star in your skin. They carry the energy of who you were, and you inherit them. Look, the mold that you have next to your mouth is the same mold that your grandfather used to have. And your mother has it too. Even though I cannot remember my grandfather's molds, I know they are part of the map of my skin. Look. Can you see this one? Yeah. I shared this one with my father. He has exactly the same one here, in this part of his body. The same shape. I shared this constellation with him, this one and one in the butt. You want to see it? Only the moment. My father has it too. The first time that I fell in love, I remember that she has a mole in this part of her wrist. And I remember the first time that I held her hand, I could feel the relief in her skin. And I liked it to caress it. But she didn't like it. She was like,
Ay, no, me dan ñañaras.
and when she said ñañaras, she made that gesture. Ñañaras. Later on, I discovered the same gesture in her mother. The first time that I went to her place, her mother was cooking. She tasted the food and she said like, it's spicy. I wonder if her mother felt ñañaras the first time someone held her hand. It was a kid thing, so we broke up and then she moved to the US. And 15 years later, I received a friend request in Facebook, a notification. It was her. In her profile picture was her holding her son. And her son had exactly the same mold in this part of his wrist. Love is a constellation.
My first language was the dance of my mother's hands. Her hands are brown, calloused, slightly swollen from 56 years of labor and love. When I was younger, I hated the way she moved her hands. She was always pointing at people, and she could never keep them still when we were driving. My dad even told me that I had my mother's hands. That got me even angrier, until I realized that her and I, in our anger, we have a similar rhythm. It goes a bit like, hey, tú te vas a calmar o yo te calmo. Porque yo te dije, yo soy tu mamá y punto. Y punto. And, you know, she doesn't really like her hands. She thinks they look a little too manly. They're nothing like the soft, white hands of my dad. But he doesn't have to use his hands when he speaks. He's American. He never has to... He doesn't need to learn Spanish or... Yeah, you know, like to be understood. And so this was a dance that I inherited from my mother, who got it from her mother, my abuelita Lidia. And Lidia was this lovely woman. She worked out on the farms, and she showed her love by braiding and washing her sister's hair. Every morning, she woke her children up to the sound of fresh tortillas being made. ¡Levántense, arrastrados! ¡Órale, bolas de mierda! ¡Ya salió el sol! ¡Levántense! ¡Vayan a comer a las gallinas! ¡Órale! ¡Ay, me da! ¡Qué tristeza que me da! Me da la lejanía y me da... ¡Órale! ¡Ya salió el sol! ¡Ay, me da! ¡Qué tristeza que me da! ¡Ay, mira, me pintó mi gallina! ¡Ay, me da! ¡Órale! ¡Ya te dije! ¡Por la última vez! the last time. Y punto, porque soy tu mamá. And so, I'm left to wonder if my mother got the striking hands, those angry hands, from my grandmother. And if my grandmother, if her hands also longed to be like my dad's white ones. It was in the United States that I realized for the first time that if I wanted to fit in, I needed to hide my language. Es que, mija, no se ve bien cuando te quemas en el sol. Es que nadie ama a los negros, nadie ama a las morenas, eh? So hide your language because we're in the United States. We're not in Mexico, no somos como allá, okay? Just hide it, okay? I don't want to see it. Hide it. Hide it because I do not want to see it.
My grandfather, Gonzalo Rodríguez, was born in the north of Mexico. He was son of Don Antonio Rodríguez and grandson of Don Antonio Rodríguez, a Mexican naturalized as a U.S. citizen in 1983, the same year that a British scientific promoted the theory of eugenics. I'm inclined to classify Mexicans as follows. Syphilitics, 86%. Savages, 92%. Whores, 97%. Complete retards, 99%. "1,000 years away from the real civilization." They are a mix between Aborigines, Spanish Catholics, and Negroes.
It was under this profile that the white American created the imagery now to be used to define the Mexican for the next 100 years.
Yo ya me voy a navegar a los desiertos. Me voy dirigido a esa estrella marinera. solo pensar que dejé un amor pendiente, no más que me acuerdo, me dan ganas de llorar. You want me to work for you, but you are asking me to pollute the river, and the river brings us water, and water is necessary for living. You want me to work for you, but you are asking me to cut the trees, and the trees bring us shadow. That's so stupid. Yes, we venerate the sun, because we can see that the sun creates life. We don't need to prove anyone who we are. We live the present moment, that's all we need.
And for the first time, the antique Mexican learned that in the white American mind, this mentality meant to be poor and lazy.
My father is very ashamed of his legs. They are skinny and crooked, like an infectious. You have piernas de indio, Alejandro. It seems like you never went down off the horse. I don't know. All the indigenous people have the legs like this, but you inherit those legs from me. I don't know, must be like a genetic defect or something. You should inherit the legs of your mother. Your mother is descendant from Europeans. Yeah, your great-grandfather was an Indian Apache. That is why. Legs wasn't supposed to be like this, so for a long time I was very ashamed of my legs. My mother bought me special shoes, orthopedic shoes. But I never wear them because I look like a complete retard. By Alejandro Rodríguez in one demonstration before being lynched in Texas in 1905. I wonder if my great-grandfather had crooked legs, piernas de indio. the South. They needed to be united, so the revolutionary soldiers was urgent to create and institutionalize a Mexican identity.
How can we do that when we are made of 291 languages, 7 different climates, and 24 different ethnicities? We are a mix of Europeans, Africans, Native people, and Asians.
Mexico must be ruled by someone who truly loves his people and his land, and he must be willing to share all the wellness with everyone, without distinction.
That we will inherit will be one without distinction, and the language we speak will be Spanish mixed with the native languages. We are going to create the Mexicano Cabrones! And the revolution began! And this is when Alejandro Rodríguez, my grandfather, entered this constellation. And this is when my great-great-grandmother made her way from the south to the north, hoping to escape the war. It was there where she stayed on the border, the place where I was born. Bueno, yo no soy de aquí, pero tampoco soy de allá. You see, my whole life, I was taught to think about violence and poverty when I think about Mexico, and to think about opportunity, status, and class when I think about the United States. And so I went about my day in English, being formal and ordering my coffee, and then when I was really angry or sad, it just comes out in Spanish. And I think the borders, they crossed us, we didn't cross them. And what it did is it created these intergenerational borders in our bodies that changed the way we hear music, taste food, and view the world. And so I exist in a dispossessed place as a dispossessed person, in a third space, one in English and one in Spanish. Pero eso es algo que nadie me lo puede quitar.
I'm brown skin, moreno. I am a mixture of mixtures, colors and flavors, a mixture of sadness becoming into hatred, a mixture of people who looked it up and straightened their bodies, a mixture of sangre india caliente, mestizo latino, papacito. Yeah. My skin carry a constellation beyond injustices and oppression. My skin is marked by wounds, wounds of love, wounds of revolution, wounds of people who never had the chance to decolonize their brains, and they were consumed by hate and ignorance. And sometimes I live surrounded by them. Today, we wanted to share our constellation with you. Tell me if we have been pierced by the same wounds.
Yes.
Have you ever feel ashamed of some part of your body?
Yes.
Have you ever feel anguish of the future, that you can feel it in your skin? someone make you feel the racism, even in your own country? Many times. Yeah. Maybe are we part of the same constellation?
Puedo hacer con esto.
Muchísimas gracias. Creo que aquí la mayoría habla español, ¿verdad? No, queremos compartir este aplauso con Lidia Martínez, que es nuestra asistente. Con Jorge, que hoy nos ayudó a operar la cámara. Muchas gracias.